My name is Stefanie Wenninger, and I'm the founder of Pine Peak Productions, and this is the Power of the Podcast. Hey, adventurers, and welcome to the very first Power of a Podcast show, where I help high-performing entrepreneurs and business owners and CEOs like you scale your brand through podcasting. Today, for the very first episode, we're going to dive into how to launch a podcast for your business, a step-by-step guide to create a show that doesn't just sound amazing, but drives tangible results like growing your audience, generating leads, and establishing yourself as an authority in your space. Whether you've been toying with the idea for months or you're ready to hit record, this episode is packed with actionable steps to help you get there. All right, the first thing we need to do is define your podcast purpose. Every great podcast starts with clarity. Before you even hit record, ask yourself, what is the primary goal of this podcast? Are you creating it to generate leads and attract new clients? Nurture your current audience or provide deeper value to existing clients? Establish yourself as a thought leader in your industry. Defining your purpose shapes everything from the tone of your episodes to how you promote them. For example, if your goal is to generate leads, your episode should focus on solving key pain points for your audience, making it easy for listeners to see the value in your services. On the other hand, if it's more about brand building and thought leadership, you may want to focus on interviews with industry leaders and covering emerging trends. Here's a pro tip. Align your podcast goals with your business goals. Sounds obvious, right? If you're launching a new product or service, consider tailoring your content to support that launch. Number 2, know your audience. Now that your purpose is clear, let's focus on your audience. Who are you speaking to? Is it your ideal customer avatar, your ITA? Maybe it's the wider industry or a specific niche that's underserved. Knowing your audience will inform everything: episode topics, guest choices, even how you promote your show. Spend time defining your listener persona. Ask questions like, what are their pain points? What do they need to know to succeed? How can your expertise or guest insights directly help them? Once you know who you're speaking to, the rest falls into place. Your podcast becomes a direct line to their hearts and minds. Here's a pro tip for this one. Create a feedback loop. After your first few episodes, survey your audience to understand what they're enjoying and what they want to hear more of. This keeps them engaged and ensures you're delivering value to them, because if they want to hear it, they'll listen more. Number 3, choose your podcast format. There's no one-size-fits-all here. It's completely up to you. The format you choose depends on your strengths, preferences, how you want your audience to engage with you. There's a lot that goes into this, and it's really just what you want and also who your ITA is and what the goal of your podcast is. Here are 3 popular formats for business podcasts. Interview style. This is great for networking, sharing diverse insights, bringing in thought leaders to provide additional value. You can position yourself as the connector, providing listeners with a variety of expert perspectives. A solo episode like this one. If you're an expert in your field, this is your chance to showcase your knowledge. Solo episodes can help you build authority and create a deeper connection with your audience, as it's just you and them. And it builds a ton of trust. So that's one of the reasons that I'm doing this. I want to show that I am an expert in my field, and something you can do too. There's also a hybrid, a mix of both interviews and solo episodes. This allows for flexibility and variety, keeping your content fresh. Don't feel like you have to pick just one. Experiment with different formats until you find what resonates with both you and your listeners. Here's a pro tip. If you're doing interviews, make a list of dream guests before you launch. Reach out early. Having big names can help you make a splash in the early days. Now, let's talk about tech. We're going to keep it simple but professional. Right now, I'm just using the DJI wireless mic. I'll link to it in the show notes. It does produce really good quality, and the one that I have has 2 microphones, so it'll be really nice if I do have in-person guests. I also do a lot of video recording, so it's just nice to have it be flexible and not so on my desk. But I do have a free checklist. You can go to my website, and I have all of the pod tech that you could ever want in an easy to read format. There's a low, mid, and high tier price points. I'll link that in the show notes as well. The tech is where a lot of entrepreneurs overthink. You don't need Hollywood level production to sound great, but you do need to invest in a couple of basics to come across as professional, like a decent microphone. A good USB microphone, like the ones that I have linked in my show notes, from Audio Technica up all the way up to Shure, will make sure that you have crystal clear audio without breaking the bank. Yes, some are more expensive than others, but sometimes it's worth investing. Headphones. If you want to monitor your sound, a pair of over-the-ear headphones work best. Mine are coming in the mail still. A hosting platform. This is where someone like me can help get your podcast out. Platforms like Libsyn, Anchor, Buzzsprout will help distribute your podcast. You have to have a hosting platform, and that sends your RSS feed to different places like Apple, Spotify, all those big platforms. So choosing a platform that fits your goals and makes analytics easy to track. Podcast analytics are notoriously hard to track, but that's okay. I have plans and we can work all that out. Don't let the tech intimidate you. You can start with these essentials and upgrade as your podcast grows. Make sure you have a quiet recording space. It doesn't need to be fancy. A small room with some sound absorbing materials like rugs or curtains will do wonders for your sound quality. Mine is a very bare room. I do have a rug underneath here, and I have some pillows and some blankets, but I can also reduce reverb a little bit, but it's really nice to have a sound or a space that is absorbing your sound so you don't have a trigger. All right, number 5, crafting your launch strategy. Your launch week is crucial. A strong launch sets the tone for your podcast success, and here's how to nail it. You want some pre-launch buzz. Start testing your podcast at least 2 weeks before your episode goes live. Use your email list, social media, any platform that you already are active on. You want to share it to all those places. Share behind the Share behind the scenes, content, sneak peeks. Get your audience excited for this podcast launch. Here's another thing that people don't think about. You want to aim to at least have 3 episodes during your launch week. This gives your listeners more content to binge and makes them more likely to subscribe. It's really easy to just do, okay, I did 1 and I'm going to do next week and just keep going on from there. Your first launch should have 3 episodes right off the bat, and then you can go to your cadence if it's weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. Leverage your network. Ask your friends, your colleagues, your audience to share your podcast. If you have guests lined up, ask your guests to promote them too. Reach out to influencers or businesses in your space who can help cross-promote your launch. Consider doing a social media takeover or guest blogging to expand your reach. A well-executed launch helps your podcast climb the charts and builds momentum in the long term. Pro tip, if you can offer a bonus or giveaway for early listeners, whether it's exclusive content or a freebie related to your business, it creates excitement and gives people an extra incentive to tune in. Launching a podcast can be overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. Just follow these steps and you'll be off to the races. Remember, a podcast isn't just about another marketing channel. It's a platform to connect with your audience, share your expertise, and ultimately grow your business. If you're feeling ready to launch but don't want to handle all the details yourself, I'm here to help. My team specializes in taking the burden off of your plate so that you can focus on your zone of genius while we take care of everything else: strategy, editing, guest booking, promotion, and more. You can head to pinepeakproductions.com to book a free consultation, and let's make your podcast adventure a reality. Thank you so much for listening. If you found this episode valuable, be sure to subscribe and share it with someone who's been thinking about launching their own podcast. I'd love to hear your thoughts and questions, so please follow me on social media and drop me a message. It's Pine Peak Productions absolutely everywhere. You can also email me at info@pinepeakproductions.com. Until next time, keep exploring new ways to grow your brand, and happy podcasting.